Before we get started, I want to get it out of the way. We just displayed the disclaimer. Hope you read it. Hope you understand it. But I want to add to that. I am not a therapist. I'm not pretending or portraying to be a therapist. I don't want to be your therapist. I am healing in real time. I'm just sharing my story with you, inviting you along with my journey. Individuals who come on this show, they are going to express themselves how they see fit. Let's respect the fact that they're sharing their journey, their testimony, their story, however you want to put it, with us. So let's give them grace and respect their expressive freedom, if you will. Also, you may hear some sensitive topics, maybe some cursing, but please respect everybody's journey and their ability to express themselves however they wish. With that being said, welcome back to another episode of The Trust Tree. I am your trustee, D. Najvino. We have a lot of new eyes to the channel, which is a total blessing. I want to just, for those of you who've never tuned in before, I want to introduce myself. Again, I'm D. Najvino. This is the Unwrap podcast channel. We have a host of other shows. You've probably seen me on Unwrap, and then also there's another show called These Two Bitches that we do on Saturday. But the Trust Tree, which you're watching right now, is a show that focuses on wellness, in a way, but mental and interview people. We talk about their lives, their stories, and you don't necessarily have to be a celebrity or anybody of importance on that level. Just regular everyday people expressing themselves and sharing their stories. We focus on um, doing the work and healing and becoming better versions of ourselves. So that's the goal here on this channel, to cover that in every facet of the concept. So um, generally speaking, we interview people, but sometimes I take a show where I just talk about things that are on my mind, areas of focus that I'm looking into. But for the most part, we're interviewing people, sharing stories, having real conversations, real people having real conversations. Funny that he pop up in the comments. What's good, Mr. 20%? Today, we actually do have an interview. The person's not here with me, obviously, but um, across the different shows on the channel, he always pops in. He always gives us great energy and good vibes. A couple of weeks back, we had the pleasure of doing the Unwrap channel had the pleasure of doing the Smoke Fest here in Chicago, and um, Q from Overdose Music. That if you're a fan or friend of the channel, you'll see him pop in and out all the time. But he has a live stream, so I sat on the live stream and really just vibed out with the viewers. And most of the people that were in the live stream are not from Chicago, so all these Chicago artists were performing, and it was really cool because I was able to introduce the people that were performing that they were watching on the live stream. But if I knew them personally, just kind of give them about why I thought they were interesting, why I thought they were worth checking out. And Mr. 20% sat in there with me the entire live stream, which was several hours. So, we got familiar with each other. We just vibed out and across all the rest of the shows on the channel where he pops into our comments, and with it's always positive. It's always a vibe. I thought that chatting with him and interviewing with him on the Trust Tree would be smart, because we want to talk to people. We want to get their stories, and especially people that we really only talk to in passing, right? So we chat with him in the comments and stuff, but we have not actually had like a really real conversation. So I thought, what better way to get to know him. Swap out. Sorry, everybody, bear with me. I do apologize. I thought waiting to get to know him better than to have him on the Trust Tree. Oh, sorry. Okay. Okay. Oh, that's better. I think that's better. Should I move it to the side, or it's cool in the front? Okay. All right. Okay. So, without further ado, want to bring on tonight's guest, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome Mr. 20%.
Hey everybody, how y'all doing?
Hello. So, you watch it all the time. So, I like people to introduce themselves. So, tell the people who you are, what you do, and where you're from.
Mr. 20%. I'm a freelance artist. I'm born in
Born in
Gary,
Gary,
Indiana, but
Indiana,
I
but I
reside right
reside
now
right
in
now in
California.
California.
Okay. That's a hell of a cultural difference from from Gary,
Big
Indiana.
difference. Big difference.
When's the last time you went back to Gary?
Uh, haven't,
Haven't.
to be
Really?
honest. Yeah,
Yeah,
not at
not at
all.
all.
Not
Not
my
my
family and
family
them,
and
they
them, they
went
went
out
out
when I
when
was
I was
probably
probably
like
like
15,
15,
but I
but
was
I
in
was in
trouble,
trouble,
so I
so
didn't
I
get
didn't
to
get to
go.
go with it.
Okay. It's funny that you say you're from Gary, right? Because like over the last like maybe like year and a half, 2 years, a lot of people from the city and even some of the suburbs have been moving to Gary because of like housing opportunities. And like everybody was talking about how like that'd be a great place to go if they had more jobs. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like there's not too many people that are out there, so you kind of you can move where you want as far as like the actual housing opportunities are concerned, but would you work? You know what I'm saying? It's a bit of a food desert situation. But somebody was saying that if they like how Amazon's opening up, I don't know if it's like this in California, but Amazon's opening up distribution centers everywhere. So like if they had a couple of like big things like that, you know what I'm saying, that bring jobs and Gary might be what it once was. But
Yeah, it
That's
kind of
kind of
fell
fell
out
out
once
once
the
the
steel mill
steel mill
closed.
closed.
Everybody
Everybody
started
started
moving
moving
up
up
out
out
of
of
there.
there.
yeah,
You know what
You know
I'm
what I'm
saying?
saying?
In the mid
Mid
'80s,
'80s,
late
late
'80s,
'80s,
they was
they was
getting up
getting
out of
up
there
out of
because
there because
there
there
wasn't nothing
wasn't
else
nothing
to
else
do.
to do.
yeah.
The
The
steel
steel
mills was
mill
the
was the
main
main
thing. It
thing,
was
was
the
the
main
main
source of
source of
income
income
out
out
there.
there.
hmm Now, when you left, well, how old were you when you moved to California?
10 years
10 years
old,
old.
Okay.
so it was a
Did you?
big
Big
culture
culture
shock.
shock.
That was the exact question I was going to ask.
Big
When you
culture
say
shock.
it was a big culture shock, like what exactly did you experience?
Uh, Blonde hair and blue eyes everywhere.
Wow.
When I was growing up, I didn't really see like white people. I see albinos, but it was seeing a white person was rare. You see Native Americans, you see Puerto Ricans. Don't call them Mexicans unless you want to fight. And that was it. That was it. That was it. So when I came out here, it was like I was just like, wow, what the used to just seeing them on TV. I'm seeing chips and all that. So it was a real big culture shock.
How was your interactions with them though?
I was fighting because they made fun of me because I had like I like Midwest people, we kind of got a twang.
Yeah.
So certain words we say, what I'm saying. So they used to always do that little goofy thing, like from Mickey Mouse, that go, and I start fighting. You know what I'm saying? Like, 'cause you know how it is out there.
Yeah.
Ain't no talking. We gonna fight.
hmm So
So that
how long
go ahead.
was it
My bad.
in your youth? How long did it take you to like, okay, this is my new home? I kind of adjusted to the fact that I'm gonna get this, but now they know don't play with me like that. So okay, let's establish our roots here. Shout out to Queen
Um,
Amy.
hey, what's up, Amy? Uh, Really, I mean, even now to this day, I'm 47 years old. Somebody asks me where I'm from, I say Gary, Indiana. So it ain't never left me. Oh, my bad, Quay.
As an adult though, like if you had like let's say you had a viable option, right? Either you can come back to Gary, live your life, or you could stay there. Which one would you really choose?
Wow. I wouldn't go back to Gary, to be honest with you. I wouldn't go back. I wouldn't go back. I mean, I go visit. I still got an auntie, but going out there to live, nah.
Okay. Now, let's talk about being a freelance artist, right? Because you hear people say I'm a freelance writer, all kinds of freelance, right? What exactly does that mean?
Well, I have my own business. It's called Personal Print. I do portraits. I make logo designs. You know what I'm saying? So I've been drawing since I was 6 years old. That just take that God given talent and just you know share with people.
Okay.
So to me, you know what I'm saying, freelance is someone that doesn't have a boss. Like I'm my own boss. So I can work with anybody, you know what I'm saying? If we gotta do contracts, we do contracts, but I can work with anybody.
Queen Amy says, biggest shout out to the trust tree. I appreciate that. That's him coming logged in. Okay.
Yeah, that's quick.
Hi Q, what's up? Growing up though, cause so you was 10, so I guess we can consider that growing up. When you were that age, did you always want to be an artist, or is this something that you just kind of discovered that, oh, I'm good at this, let me do this?
Well, when I first started drawing, because I grew up with my grandparents, great grandparents. I didn't stay with my family. So one day they were sitting there drinking coffee, eating them entertainment danishes out the little entertainment bites. And that's when the ebony magazines was big. Remember, there used to be big magazines before they went to the small. And I drew a picture of Michael Jackson with color, love color. And I'm 6 years old, and I made it look just like the picture. So once they started seeing that, I didn't get toys no more. They wanted to see what interests me: pastels, markers, clay, woodland wood, painting. You know what I'm saying? And my main thing was just pencil and color pencil. And then, but as I grew older, I started messing with doing other mediums.
Okay. So when you were young like that and you stopped like receiving toys and things to play with that might have been more entertaining or appealing to a kid, how did you feel about not receiving that kind of stuff anymore, but now?
I love drawing. I used to challenge myself, like watching cartoons to see if I can sketch what I'm watching. So it didn't really bother me because I enjoyed drawing. I had everywhere I went from that. Once they found out I did that, I always had an art pad and some pencils. Even to this day, I always go around with some art pad and some pencils. I didn't hear nothing you said, Nash. I
I
still didn't
still
hear
didn't
it.
hear it.
I didn't hear nothing you said, Nash.
You said now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. Well, did you hear Echo when he just said that? Because we're getting an echo. So I'm wondering if you got headphones, if it might make it better.
I don't see if these mugs will work too. Hold on, give me 1 second. Where my settings at? Settings.
Bear with us, people. We're trying to work through our audio issues. Okay. Can you hear me? But now I can't hear. Now we can't hear you. Oh, I think you are you muted?
But no,
There you are.
now I'm
Uh-oh. Say something again.
testing.
Okay.
You can hear me?
You always sound good to me. It's just how it sounds to the
Uh,
audience.
okay.
Okay.
I'm hoping I'm sounding good, or at least they can hear me.
Okay. I think okay, you're good. You're good. You're good to go. Okay.
Alrighty.
So the question I was asking was, so your grandparents, were giving you art supplies, so they nurtured that, they embraced that in the house. But then when you went outside with your friends, did you get that same reception?
I mean, when I was outside, we was playing cops and robbers. So, I mean, I played like outside, I played like what I'm saying, normally.
Hmm.
But when I was in the house or we was traveling, then I had my art supplies with me.
Okay. Were you able to express that at all in school?
Yes. But it kind of sucked because I never won anything. Drew better than everybody, but never won anything.
Why do you think that is?
My attitude, I had a terrible attitude.
Hmm. Okay.
So, that kind of like stopped a lot of stuff.
How old were you before you realized that was a thing?
Well, I knew it from jump. You know what I'm saying? But my family nickname was Knuckles. Got that when I was the age of 2, and I just got better at it as I grew. So I was always
Wow.
fighting.
Now, when you went, so you're 10 when you moved out there. You make it through grade school. How was high school for you?
Then at 10, I was locked up. I was in prison.
Wow.
Yeah, I got locked up. I got charged as an adult when I was 16, and I got out when I was 28.
Oh, that instance.
Yes, yes. But I mean, in there, it was either two things you can do: program or rebel. And by me drawing, that was my hustle, so I never had to depend on like any type of outsource, any type of like financial gain because I drew. So by me drawing, that was my little hustle in there. So I was
Damn.
making money off that.
So, I mean, 'cause, I've never been to jail, so I don't know what that's like at all. But when people are locked up, I feel like when they're younger, like I think it's just that's a totally different experience. And then that I think is a big difference between getting locked up as a kid and being in there through your teenage years, and then also what I'm saying, through your some piece of your adulthood, than if you were locked up as an adult and then you were released as just an older adult. You know what I'm saying? What do you think that did for you as a person?
I learned respect. I learned respect because I didn't have no respect for myself or the next person. But in there, that's prime gold. If you don't respect somebody, you can turn into a pincushion.
Mm. And I think you starting off saying having respect for yourself. I think that's a huge thing because, in my opinion, that's what's missing now. Like, how in the hell can you expect the young people to have respect for other people, respect for life, when they really don't have no value, and they don't respect themselves like at all. Like they just don't. You know?
That's the truth.
And I mean,
That's the
of
truth.
course, if you could have been able to learn that from the adults and the people that were around you, as opposed to you having to go to prison. Of course, that I'm pretty sure that would have been an easier situation. But you got from that experience. Have you ever been able to like speak to the youth from that perspective, kind of share your situation?
When I was in Quentin, because I'm saying, me having, I'm saying, being a young person, it was a lot easier for me to like talk to people. You know what I'm saying? Because they like, hey, hey, this fool right here, what I'm saying, started at a young age, and it was easy for me. Like, yeah, I was doing the same thing you were doing, and letting them know I'm not trying to preach to you, even though you young. I had that mentality of I'm a man, I'm my own man. So can't another man tell me nothing, what I'm saying, what to do? Which
Hmm.
is kind of like, if it's something negative, then yeah. But if it's something positive to help yourself grow, help you become a better person in life, a better person to your family, better person to, what I'm saying, everybody around you, then you gotta listen. You know what I'm saying? And I learned that.
Okay. When you were locked up, did you have like the support of your family throughout the journey?
Like I said, I by me drawing, I was able to take care of myself. But what I'm saying, like, if a phone call, what I'm saying, sometimes I would call home, what I'm saying, when I was able to. But other than that, no, I didn't depend on them for really nothing.
Early on, when you were still really young, like let's say 16 to 17.
Hmm.
Um, did you feel some type of way? Like, were you hurt by the fact that you didn't necessarily, maybe have that, like maybe some other people did, like them coming to visit, or just more of a helping hand from them?
To be honest, I'm glad it wouldn't, because it probably would have been more stressful. You know what I'm saying? So by that it's a saying that we say, out of sight, out of mind. So as long as you ain't, and, don't mean that you ain't on somebody's mind,
Hmm.
but it's just that as long as I can't see it, or you can't see it, then it made the journey go through a lot easier.
Okay. Shout out to Swipe God and DJ Ace Vito. We got a couple
Yes,
comments
yes.
while um when when you're of course we get different things, movies and other other situations we can kind
Hmm.
of peer into that. Can you hear me okay?
I hear you. Good. I hear you. You just went out. I said you just went out.
Well, I'm only touching it when the shit go out. Um, damn, I forgot what I was about to say. Um, your experience being in there and being a young adult. Did you
Mhm.
really experience like people like you like really having to watch your back, not being able to trust people, like having to like figure things out, like for real, like school of the hard knocks?
Well, my father told me the best advice before I went in, and he said, "Somebody slides something up under your door, you kick it back out. Don't accept nothing from nobody, and then if somebody mess with you, make the tower gun pop." And I lived by that till about 21. Then I started slowing down. Ran into a couple of people that like opened my eyes.
Okay.
Like the most scariest thing, when you used to conflict, no one ever talked to you. So it was a guy named Frankie Somerville. He's doing life. He's from out of Altadena, and it's chow time for breakfast. And I've taken my time, using the sink, brush, what I'm saying, Noxemia and all that old stuff. And then I leave out. Didn't get a man no time to do anything. So when I come back in, he sat down and talked to me, and he let me know, like, hey, it's a two-man sale. We got to respect each other. You know what I'm saying? And he is scared the hell out of me, because ain't nobody ever talked to me. I was expecting us to start fighting or try to stab each other to death in here. And when he talked to me, that scared me so much I didn't know how to react. So when I went to my my graphic arts little, I forgot what they called it. Dang it. Uh, it's like a curriculum. So I'll go there and people start seeing like I wasn't the same little wild cracking jokes running around. And they was like, "Hey man, what's wrong with you?" And I'm like, I think I'm gonna have to go stab myself. And they were like, "Well, for what?" And I'm like, "He talked to me." And they had to explain to me like, "Nah, that's good." And I'm like, "Oh, okay," because ain't no one ever talked to me. I messed up, somebody going upside my head, and we fighting. So that was the first time, the first experience of having somebody actually talk to me and let me know what my wrong was, and I didn't know how to deal with it. But then when I seen what it was, I mean, I really I emulated myself after that man. You know what I'm saying? That man taught me a lot. He showed me, you don't always got to be the wolf. You know what I'm saying? It's cool to put the sheep clothing on so they don't know that they're dealing with a wolf.
Hmm.
So he showed me like how to be meek, how to be empathetic, how to have sympathy. You know what I'm saying? How to articulate myself and talk to someone instead of talking at someone.
And then after your interaction with him, and then basically him giving you the game and teaching you grace, really, um, as you interact and kind of work your way to do the rest of your time, do you feel like it was way easier for you to interact with other inmates and choose to talk your way through situations? But because just because you got understanding don't mean everybody else do.
Yes, that's true. Um, I was still, like I said, I still had my moments of wilding out. I was still wild out, and a lot of people didn't want to deal with me. But like I say, but by dealing with him and him showing like, hey, 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 and I'm like, okay, and then having people like, when I was in there, no one would buy my drawings. I had to have someone else sell it because they didn't want to be around me.
Oh wow.
And when that got to my attention, I'm like, F y'all. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be around me. You don't want my artwork. So then I had to like, okay. And then when a lot of them sat down and actually started talking to me, they actually seen that like, okay, he actually a smart young man. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You ain't half bad. It was just I would say the small man complex because I was little. I'm like 4'5", probably 98 pounds, maybe 100. You know what I'm saying? So to me, I looked at everyone that's bigger than me. They thinking that I'm a victim, and I'm not. I'm gonna show you something different.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked out sometimes, and sometimes it didn't.
And DJ Ace Vito commented, Jim, to talk to, not at someone. Um, I think every young adult, whether male or female, has to learn that growing up. Especially if you come from a house where things might be unbalanced, where there's a lot of yelling, there's not much communication. You know what I'm saying? It might be a little chaos. You take that with you when you go out into the world. So I know I personally had to deal with that. Just, I mean, and not necessarily from my upbringing, but just like seriously, like in life, like don't everybody don't like to be yelled at or talked to aggressively. Some people are able to communicate, say what you got to say. You don't have to yell at me or curse me out or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I
Yeah,
absolutely think that
some people
definitely.
would. A lot of people. I didn't know I was doing it. Just like how you say
Yeah.
the environment that you in, that's just it's something normal.
Hmm.
So to you, like, hey, well, you know what I'm saying? That's normal to you. But actually, like, hey, excuse me, can I? You know what I'm saying? That's something out of the norm because that wasn't something that you was receiving in the environment that you was in.
Yep. But then also too, being able to receive that when somebody says, "Hey, you know, I ain't like how you said whatever you said," and you being able to accept that, say what you feel, and move on. Like a lot of people can't even make it past the, "Hey, I ain't like what you said," because you already, what I'm saying, flying off the handle because the fact that somebody would even say something to you in the general sense is just disrespectful. Kind of like how you originally felt, where when he started talking to you, the first thing you thought about was, "Oh hell no, who sent you?" You know what I mean?
Yeah, thought it was going down. thought
Yeah.
it was going down.
So then when you get out, you back in the world, what do you feel like you was able to do the things that you learned from jail?
The first time I got out, because I ended up going right back in. I stayed out for like 11 months, then went back in for four more years. But I knew I wasn't ready. Like, I mean, I literally cried, like, leading up to me getting out, because I was like, I'm going to come back. I told people I'm not ready. I'm just starting to figure out who I am, not who I was, or who I was portraying myself to everybody out in the world. So I was not ready at all the first time I got out. Not at all.
So I'm curious about that because okay, so you're in there. There are some resources and programs and things, but then you're also learning from other individuals that are around you. What do you think it would have taken at the time to get you prepared to be released and just be cool, become a productive citizen, and live your life? What was missing?
Like I say, awareness of self. I wasn't aware of myself. I didn't know who I was. When I was young, I was out in the streets, ripping and running the streets, doing what I shouldn't have been doing at all. And the judge told me, we don't mind people from Gary, Indiana coming out here, but we're not about to have your type of Gary, Indiana person out here doing what you're doing. That's what we're not
Mm.
fit to have. And they showed me, you know what I'm saying? Put a nice little number on me and just like I'm just angry. I was very angry as a kid. Very, very angry.
As an
So,
adult, as an
mhm.
adult, when you sit back and reflect on that anger, have you been able to tap into what that is?
Yeah. I grew up I watched my mom get abused as a kid. I was abused myself as a kid. Uh so it was just that, when I used to get mad, I used to put my dad's face on people.
Mm.
So I would see my father. I would put my father's face on you and I would try to kill you. and that was my that was my downfall, my anger, that pent up anger, and just wanted the world to feel my pain.
Okay. We're gonna put a pin in that. We went back to jail. So
Okay.
then now you're back. Technically,
Uh,
it was where you wanted to be at the time.
well, okay, so like I said, I knew I wasn't ready. So what I tried to form a plan. Okay, no guns, no going out here shooting people. But I never got caught selling drugs, and that was my downfall. The downfall of thinking that you're still slick enough to do a crime instead of just leaving the crime alone and become a productive citizen.
Mm.
So that was my downfall, thinking that I can still pimp the system and do what I wanted, do what I wanted to do.
So when you initially went back that time, when you like very early on, when you're doing this stretch, did you tell yourself, I'm not doing this shit again? Or you weren't there
Yes.
yet?
Oh no, no, no. I say probably like my second year in, when my kid mom took the little money I had and my babies and ran off to Vegas. That's when I knew. I was just like, you know what, this ain't it. You know what I'm saying? I'm balled up on my bed for 2 weeks, ain't showering, ain't eating. You know what I'm saying? I had a person come down, hey man, you gotta go get in the shower. You stanking up the whole road.
Damn.
I was hurt. I was hurt. The person that I thought wouldn't leave me or wouldn't do something like that did that to me. And so it crushed my world, but it also gave me the opportunity to rebuild myself. And then when I rebuilt myself, I just was like, okay, this is the plan. I'd rather be a bum living on the streets and free than having somebody that's my youngest kid's age telling me to get on the ground or go lock it up or talking crazy to me.
Hmm.
So it was just I just made that decision. Like, you know what, it ain't for me.
Do you believe it's for a person to be, huh? It's possible for a person to be rehabilitated strictly counting on the system, or you think it's 1,000%, you got to pull it from within?
It has to be you. It has to be you, because that's the final. All decision comes down to what's the decision that you making. You know what I'm saying? Just like, I know you heard your parents tell you, did they have a gun to your head? If Bobby go run and jump off this bridge, you gonna follow after Bobby and jump off the bridge? You can't think for yourself.
Yeah. I think I found myself saying that a time or two. But yeah, I mean, we live in the world we live in right now is very scary, and I have young adults, teen and very toddler, and then young teens, and like I really think it's imperative that they understand that like circumstances they can go a lot of different ways, but the one thing that really fucking matters is the consequence. So like you could get in the car with somebody, let's say you walking home from the store with your friends and they cousin pull up that you don't really know, and you're like, oh, it's hot as hell, we don't want to walk, let's get in the car, you know but they got guns and weed and all kind of shit in the car. Just because you wasn't driving don't mean you ain't gonna get mixed up in that shit. You may not necessarily go to prison or jail or whatever, but the shit got to get worked out. And it's
True.
just like if you initially make better decisions, you just leave yourself with way more options. I'm very scared of that kind of shit because sometimes kids just don't have the courage to be like, "No, I'm gonna leave. I don't like this. I don't like the way this feel. I'm gonna go." They just rock the boat, so they just kind of go along with shit, and then next thing you know, you got to hire a lawyer, or even worse than that. You know what I'm saying? Like shit happens all the time, and I just I all the time because you do have a lot of people that they don't have any life to give them some game or some encouragement, you know. HB say it's like dealing with addiction change.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Think I should just hold it? Oh no, it's cool now. Um, but yeah, I like to talk to people that have been through things like this and just kind of get their perspective on how they feel now and when they reflect on what they went through, as a youth. Like if they think about that. And so question that we ask across most of the Unwrap shows, um, if you can go back to the version of you were when you first went to jail when you were 16, as yourself right now, would you listen to you?
I wouldn't change anything because it made me the person that I am right now. If I wouldn't have went through none of the troubles, none of the heartache, none of the you know what I'm saying, the pain, I wouldn't be the person that I am right now. So
But do
all that
you
it was growth.
but do you
It was
think
just
if you went back to talk to yourself as a 16-year-old that you would listen to you?
no, no, no. Probably would rob myself.
What would you try to say to yourself?
I wouldn't. One thing I would try to show. Matter of fact, my two youngest boys, their oldest uncle just got out, doing a life sentence. And when I got out, I seen me in him. I didn't preach to him. You know what I'm saying? I just like, you know what? Hey, I see you out there in the streets because you're trying to get money. My father got his own janitorial business, man. Come clean this place with me, and I'm gonna give you half the money that I make off this place. And that's what I did. And he was doing good, but he ended up still going out there with them boys and end up getting, you know what I'm saying, being locked up, dang near the same age, 16, and he just got out this year.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? He got his sentence reduced and they, time served and let him come home. I'm glad. I still call him my little brother. I'm glad my little brother home. But I told him
When
because I felt that I failed him.
Okay.
And he let me know, like, you didn't fail me, man. You gave me everything that I needed to do to start living my life right. And I did that. I chose to go and do that. I chose to go out there with them and end up, you know what I'm saying? And I was just like, but I mean, still, I still feel like I could have done more. But I think we all feel like that when we see somebody that we're trying to really help and we care about, and it doesn't work out how we see or how we plan it, and we
Yeah.
still, we feel at fault.
Yeah. I think most people, because you already been there, everything that you see in that person that's wrong or could be corrected, you just got to fix every single thing. And if you can't, it's just a complete failure. I I think
I
everybody.
wouldn't.
Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I agree with that. I agree with that. I agree with that. But like my thing was, I was just trying to show it's a better way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You get money, but you ain't got to be in the streets to get no money. You know what I'm saying? You got all these temp agencies. You got the what they call it ROTC. You know what I'm saying? The schools where they doing a little military thing and they help kids get jobs in the summertime. It's a lot of opportunities out there, but the stuff that we see and as a child and the stuff that we glorify, you know what I'm saying? Like, most of the time I wanted to be Scarface. It was a point in time when I was a kid, I was like, hey, I want to be on America's Most Wanted.
Damn.
I was on Antelope Valley's Most Wanted, but not America's, you know what I'm saying? So I almost made it.
That's crazy. Ace Vito say some chase the lifestyle more than the money. They can make more doing something else, but they have an image to uphold at certain mindset.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because it
Ooh.
got to a point where it was an adrenaline rush for me.
Hmm.
I didn't even care about the money anymore. It was just that rush of you know what I'm saying, of doing it. You know what I'm saying? That excitement. I started chasing the excitement, and that's why I ended up getting caught up because I wasn't doing it for the reason that I started doing it. I started chasing it for the excitement.
Would you say that's definitely more dangerous?
Yes, yes, because you never get that. It's just like the first time you get high. You smoke that joint and you like, whoa, you never get that high again. Even though you sitting there, you smoking it, you never experience that same high again. Even though you chasing it.
Yeah. I've never really heard anybody talk about weed in that way, but somebody that used to smoke crack, that they literally said, all right, we was sitting around playing spades, getting drunk, and we was like, everybody knows what crack is, right? Everybody knows that. Why in the fuck would you do that? And they was just saying that they was kicking it. The mood struck. They did it, and ever since that first time, they have spent every hour of every day chasing that original high, and that's what
See, my
matters.
my problem, I was a sherm head.
Damn.
So yeah, a young sherm head. So regular weed didn't. I had to dip. I roll me up some chronic, and I got to go get me a pour, and I got to dip
So that's a whole nother layer of shit you had to deal with when you got locked up because you couldn't get that. Well, maybe you could, but
it. No, but every time you sweat, you get a flashback.
oh,
Because I
wow.
smoked it so much, every time so I would go out there and work out, play basketball just so I could sweat and be like,
Crazy.
yeah, yeah, that water ain't no joke.
Ever I can do the hand. Or have you ever been to therapy?
Yes,
How was that?
didn't like it, didn't like
Why?
it. I kept having dreams that the people that I was messing with was killed my family, and
Oh
this
no.
is a recurring dream I kept having locked up, and I just was like, they gonna kill my family, you know what I'm saying? So I wrote a kite to my family, and it get intercepted because of what I'm talking about. So a therapist came to talk to me, and I'm like, I don't want to talk to you. So I tried to attack them, and they got me, they locked me down and had me on Hyodol, Cogentin, Thorazine, and Ritalin while I was hooked up.
And this was when you did therapy. This was when you were locked up.
Hmm.
Okay. So, in your opinion, let's say you're in there and you're going through therapy and they're asking you questions or whatever, you're talking through whatever you're going through. If it had not been accompanied with medication, do you think you would have received it better?
They gave me that's always their go to dope you up so and you're just a walking zombie. You ain't aware of nothing that's going on around you. You sleeping almost all the day through, and I didn't like it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't like it at all. I did not like it at all.
Ace Vito say chasing the dragon.
Mhm.
You say adrenaline rush. I'm always interested in people that experience different things, and I don't want to call it trauma because you may not feel like it was traumatic, but
No,
just
it was trauma.
okay, so people who've been through
It was
traumatic
trauma.
situations, if they have had therapy and what their experiences are, because therapy doesn't work for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got their reasons. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes people are not ready to have somebody talk to them about anything because they ask you questions. You got to answer those questions. By you answering those questions, you're facing things that you went through. They look very different now. It's through a completely different lens. Sometimes we're not ready to handle that. But I find it interesting that being incarcerated where there's nothing but time, space, and opportunity, instead of actually doing the work, like speaking through the issues and working on doing whatever the hell it is that they would normally do, they just choose to medicate people. Better not be messing with them fools that be going off that water.
Yeah, you be super strong off that stuff.
But after you got out and you got back in the world, have you gone to therapy?
No, I had to actually get off of. They wasn't gonna let me out.
Oh,
They was trying to hold me. I was triple CMS 5150. That was on my files. I was a JCat, and I had to sit in front of three people to see if I'm eligible to parole. To see if my mental state was, and I was like, oh no. Mm-mm. So I've started refusing all the medication. I've started refusing seeing them, and that's how I end up getting out. But I'm you know, but then it also depends on the person. They you have to be ready to face to you know what I'm saying to re-scratch that surface of that hurt of those traumatic experiences.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be willing to face them.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of people don't want to face that.
Yeah.
They rather avoid it because some of the stuff, some people, God, went through the trouble of being assaulted, and I mean like sexually assaulted. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying, as a child, and you know what I'm saying, and that right there is something very traumatic. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, that can mess, especially when I believe that when you're a child, your mind ain't fully developed. You're in the you're a sponge, so you just soaking everything up, whether it's good, whether it's bad, whether it's abuse, whether it's a sexual assault, whether it's being talked down to like you a dog, you lesser than a human being. That stuff sits and it resonates, and sometimes that's what that person becomes. The same person that's doing that to them, they become that same person. And I
Yeah.
told myself I'm not gonna be like my father, and I'm not like my father.
Okay. Now you'll see me glancing down. I jotted down some questions, so I'm not actually like playing on my phone. I just want to point that out. But Ace Vito says, "Have you tried psychedelics to deal with your trauma, like
uh,
recreationally?"
if you if not the psychedelics, the Motown group, yeah, I listen to them. But you know what I'm saying. I think the only psychedelics, I actually no, I never tried shrooms. I've never shot up. I've never smoked crack. I ain't never done heroin. You know what I'm saying? It's just my downfall was that Sherm.
I'm gonna have to say good for you on that one. You know, loosely, loosely. But talking about you know, dealing with trauma and things as a kid. I find myself having this conversation with a lot of different people. Have you reached the point, and this is kind of like a couple fold question, if you will, because I want to talk about the role of forgiveness in your life because you've dealt with a lot of things within your family, but also you being a parent yourself and you being an adult now. Have you had a moment with yourself where you realize my parents experienced what they experienced, they did what they did to me, but have you had that situation where you were like, they were just doing the best that they could with what it was that they had? You know what I mean? Like, they are human.
With my father, it was a cycle. His dad did the same thing to him. So that's something that he went through, he learned, he picked up. So he carried that on to when he made a family. So we got to experience the abusive drunk. And that's one thing I can say. I never did it. Nope, nope. Now my thing is I used to whoop my kids a lot for everything. Drop the P. You know what I'm saying? And my wife was like, "Hey, you ain't gotta always whoop these kids to show them that they messing up. It's too much stuff you can take from these kids. You take their phone, oh, it's the end of the world. You take their
Oh
game
yeah.
system, oh, it's
Oh yeah.
they. You know what I'm saying? They writing a hello. You know what I'm saying? I'm leaving letter. I'm out of here. So I'm thankful for my wife. It taught me that. You know what I'm saying? Like you ain't gotta always whoop them. So I was like, okay. So that got me up out of that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's all you mess up, gotta whoop it. Whether it was a extension cord, uh, the wooden beach shoe, your Hot Wheel waist track, extension cord. Go out there and pick your switch, water hose, 2x4. You know, you know what I'm saying? I've been whooped by a lot of stuff. So it's just just I didn't want my kids to that. You know what I'm saying? Even though I whooped them, I still gave my 3, 5 licks. You doing more than that, you abusing your child. You beating your child out of anger. And that's one thing that I refuse to do. I'm not gonna whoop you out of anger.
Mhm. Okay. Now, I'm gonna put a bunch of mental bookmarks so we can make sure we come home on all of this. And realizing that, and your wife saying that to you and everything. Where does forgiveness come in? Like, have you been able to experience forgiveness? For your parents and the things that you experienced at their hand.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I say, it wasn't their fault. That was something that they was taught. And you know what I'm saying? To stop that cycle, somebody gotta break it.
Mhm.
And thank God I was one to break it. I didn't carry that on, you know what I'm saying? I ain't never put my hands on my wife. Will never put my hands on my wife. You know what I'm saying? You're not supposed to that's the I'm supposed to protect. I'm supposed to be her, you know what I'm saying, her security, her comfort, her ear. Not somebody that she's scared to walk around on eggshells around. Nah. Mm-mm. Plus my wife got a whole bunch of sisters that try to jump me.
Oh, for sure. I'm sure. I'm sure. And then I think too it's another great thing to point out is considering what you dealt with when you went back to prison, when you were saying that the person that you were with at the time betrayed you, and you had to get past that. It's good to see that you're able to be in a relationship, have children, be married, and it be productive, and you even be able to communicate. Like, she was honest with you about how she felt about the situation with the children. You didn't cuss her out or none of that. Y'all had a conversation about it. You learned something, and you was able to move on and be a better parent and man in that way.
Mhm.
That's great. Do you find that, like, you reflect a lot on things that you've been through and where you are now? Have you, like, celebrated yourself in that way?
I don't I try not to think about my past at all. The way I carry myself and conduct myself now, when people do hear about some of the crazy stuff that I was doing, they look at me like, nah, not James, not nah. He ain't, you know what I'm saying? Then they see that paperwork and be like, oh, wow. But I don't like that because it make people look at me different. I don't like being looked at like not. I don't like that. I hate that like a mug. I hate that. So I try not to like even dwell on it. You know what I'm saying? I don't glorify it. You know what I'm saying at all.
Mhm. Okay. All right. Now, what do you feel is the most significant no you've ever received?
Like, all right, explain that a little bit.
So, like,
What do you mean?
if like you were turned down from a job, you like you said, let's say you wanted to start your business and you wanted somebody to invest in you. You developed a business plan, you pitched it to them, you thought it was fabulous. They was like, no. Just situations in your life where things didn't turn out the way you thought they would, in a negative way, but it affected you in this way where it's like, okay, going forward, I'm not doing this shit no more.
I say I got with my wife 2012, and because of my background, I couldn't get a job. I never made it past the second interview, but I didn't stop. I refused to stop. Remember when I told you in the beginning, I'd rather be a bum sleeping in the Maytag's box and free than do what I was doing. There's only one way that you can get that out of me, messing with my family. Other than that, I don't care what nobody say. You can say all you want, as long as you don't put your hands on me.
Okay. Do you like who you are now?
Yes, yes. If I wasn't the person that I am now, I wouldn't be married to the wonderful woman that I have on my side for this
Okay.
10 years.
16-year-old Miss 20%. Would he like who you are?
He wouldn't understand. Angry. You know what I'm saying? Wouldn't have understood it all. Would not have understood it all. But one thing I can say, when I was going through that transition of being who I am now, I have certain words that'll make me stop and then rethink and rewind of like, okay, why did they say this to me? Like
Mm-hmm.
if somebody tell me I'm tripping, 10 out of 10, I was tripping. And I would stop because those are trigger words. I have trigger words that make me stop and assess myself like, hey, what are you doing? And if I see that, oh, okay, you tripping, I would grab, hey, get up out of here. Myself. I would snatch my collar up by myself. I would check myself. I'll put my hand in my face like, you better calm yourself down. I'll check myself before I let somebody else check me. I'd rather check myself. Because it all comes down to self. It's not on like on no pride stuff or someone, you know what I'm saying? If someone trying to build you up, you messing up, yeah, you need to hear that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You don't need a yes man. A real friend or someone that really cares about you ain't gonna be like, oh yeah, that's all right. No, hey, you tripping, you messing up. Calm yourself down, go sit on over there, man, or go home.
Yeah. Q says, "Congratulations, bro." Um, I since you're talking about that, I actually was having a conversation earlier today about people who, let's say you have a, let's say you're in a business relationship with somebody, and
Hmm.
that other person is tripping. They doing all type of shit that just doesn't make sense. They not listening to you as a partner. You know what I'm saying? They making decisions on their own that they constantly are just, they just never work out, you know? And when you try to come to that person, rather than them listen to what you have to say, they just, cussing you out, flying off the deep end. It's just a bunch of, they're blocking, they're not receiving it at all. Like how do you deal with people like that?
I say so. I've been fooled. I've been fooled a couple of times by people that So I would say 8 out of 10. So that 2% of that 10, that two of that 10 is, what I'm saying, when I got fooled. But usually I, I, I sense something about somebody, like their energy. If it rubs me wrong, I'm not gonna deal with you because I already can see where that's, you know what I'm saying, where that's coming. And then by me being who I used to be,
Mm-hmm.
if I see them traits of my old self, I'm not dealing with you.
Would
So you
what
know what I'm
part?
saying.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And another thing, when it comes to like business stuff, you got to do paperwork. Even don't you have to have a contract because then that way it's binding to where, okay, I can step away from this and you can go ahead and just buy this and this business could be all yours by yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's
When
no
you don't
need for a
have that,
conversation. The paperwork
when you
speak
don't,
for
yeah,
itself.
yeah. Hmm.
Okay.
And
All right.
when you don't have that, then that's when you go through a lot of those problems, you know what I'm saying, of the BS. Because there's no notarized form saying this is what you agree of doing, this is what I agree of doing, and then when it comes to decisions, we do it as a democracy. It isn't I do it what I want and this is what it's going to be. No, this is written out in paperwork. This is how we work. And if you can't agree with that, and I feel that this ain't gonna work, then hey, you can buy me out. This business gonna be all of yours. You know what I'm saying? So that way, if it fails up because of you.
Ain't mad at that. Okay. We'll switch gears a little bit. Um,
Hmm.
what's your favorite thing about being a parent?
Man. Mm. Wow. Um. Dang.
Is it everything?
I guess it is. I guess I mean like it's I don't know how to put it into words. It's a wonderful it's a wonderful thing. You know what I'm saying? Because I love that fresh baby smell. That's
Yeah.
something that I love.
That is
I
a
just love to
problem. It
man.
is.
I love just that that no teeth smile. Just you know what I'm saying from ear to ear. Just for you
Yep.
saying good morning.
Yep.
That
The two teeth and the fat thighs.
yeah, and you know what I mean. Knowing that like my thing like a lot of my kids they're grown. Well, I should say all my kids are grown except my youngest one. We don't really have a good relationship, me and my youngest one. I wish we did, you know. But I know one thing that he does know that if he calls on me and he need me, he know I'm gonna be there. You know, I'm if I gotta run there in my socks in the rain, I'm gonna be there.
Are you are were you were trying to work on a relationship and the youngest is not receptive to it?
No, yeah, but I mean it's mostly because he can't do the stuff that he does with his mom that he can do. You know what I'm saying? I don't allow that. If I ask you to go do something, just go do it. I bad behavior do not get rewarded.
Mm.
You want to be the class clown? Then summertime, guess what the class clown gonna be doing? Math, reading, language arts, science. You're not about to be out there playing. You're not about to be on the game playing. You're not about to be on your phone. You're supposed to be doing education because you want to be a class clown. Now you got to get all this right now. And that's one thing that he didn't like. You know, he didn't like that. Hey, you got to do this because I wasn't going to accept it. I told her, hey, there's no reason for you to do any of this. Your daddy didn't done it all. I want you to be better than me. And to be better than me, that's not being a class clown in school. That's having some good grades. I ain't tripping on those C's. To me, A, B, and C is good grades.
Yeah. Yeah, when you get to college, D's get degrees, you know what I'm saying?
Because I mean, when I was growing, they was passing me when I came out of California from fourth grade to sixth grade on F's.
Damn.
Every subject, F. Next grade, F. Next grade, F. Until I got seventh and they failed me. I wasn't used to it. It was people that, hey, we don't. All right, we see how you want to act, but that's cool. You can go ahead and act like that, and you're gonna be acting like that again in the seventh grade next year. And then when they got tired of it, they just kicked me out the school district.
Damn.
And I didn't want that for my kids.
Now is the your youngest son, is he aware of your past and the things that you've been through?
Yeah, he visited me when I was in Quentin. Your man is the older one, London. Came and visit me. You know what I'm saying? Came and visit me. I don't know if he remembers it. I know London remembers it. I know my son London remembers it. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know if he remembers it or not. But I was like, majority of my time, wasn't really in my kid's life because I was in and out, in and out. You know what I'm saying? The first child I had, I was going on 13. It's the first time I had my first son. I was
Wow.
going on 13 years old, and I just wasn't there for his birth. My next son in juvenile halls wasn't there for that birth. My next son in juvenile halls wasn't there for that birth. My daughter wasn't there for her birth. My boy London, he's not my blood, but he gave me the title father, daddy. He started calling me daddy, and I lived up to that. You know what I'm saying? That's my son. And then my youngest one, I'm right back in prison. You know what I'm saying? When he was born, so I never really got to have that experience of, you know what I'm saying, of being in their life of giving them any type of guidance. But back then, I wouldn't have been giving them no good guidance.
I see that. Yeah. I mean, as a parent, I feel like all we can do is give ourselves grace and really attempt to give them grace. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know. It's like you have your great days not so great days, and then whatever's in between. You know what I mean? But it's just grace because you might think it's terrible for you, but it's always somebody that's got it way worse. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we all we can do is be patient with ourselves and just don't give up. You know,
Yeah. Yeah, I
like
was watching one. Excuse me. I was watching one of your trust trees. You had your boy on there. He looked just like you.
oh yeah,
You had him on there, and I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, man, Nash and Swipe doing. You know what I'm saying? They bring it. You know what I'm saying? He articulated himself, respect. You know what I'm saying? His talk was. You know what I'm saying? Respect. You know what I'm saying? I was like, okay. You know what I'm saying? That was one of my favorite trust trees, to be honest with you. When
yeah,
you
us
when you was
too.
up there with your boy.
Honestly,
Yeah.
and you know when the kids started getting older and like you start to just have like general conversations with them, like he always shocked the shit out of us, like the things that he would say. We experienced that with all of our family members that spent time with him. We even had I think almost every teacher that he's ever had, we it's the same thing. But it really like we I don't know if you could hear what he said, but like all of his teachers from the time he was in preschool up until now, they all like to eat lunch with him. So we learned this because our daughter, who's a little bit older than him, she forgot her lunch and her glasses. So we had to go to school and drop it off. So I dropped it off, but his classroom was right by the office. So I just peeked in there and I see him sitting at the table with his teacher. And I think he might have been like 5 or 6. And I'm like, damn, he must. What? I wonder if he did something wrong because all the rest of the kids was all together, but he just over there, you know. But it didn't look like a hostile situation. So when we went to go pick him up, I kind of asked, "What the hell was going on with that?" And she was like, "Oh, I eat lunch with him every day. I, that's the highlight of my day." And I'm looking at her like she's crazy as hell. Like, what are you talking about? She's like, "Oh, we talk about all kinds of things." She was like, he's just so intelligent. And she was like, you would think that she said, my experience with most of the other kids, they're the same age, but they're watching like Empire and they're doing all this stuff that they shouldn't be doing. And it's like with him, he does age appropriate things, but his level of conversation and articulation is that of another adult. And it's just refreshing to
Mm-hmm.
be able to take this part of my day and just experience this. And that's what I choose to do every day. And every time he is another teacher, we get the same damn thing. But that's my favorite part of parenthood is experiencing other people's joy through my kids. You
Mm.
know, because maybe it's selfish of me. I don't give a damn. But I feel like it's a badge of honor because they tell us all the time, "Oh, y'all got beautiful, smart kids," and blah 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 blah. Thank you. Yes, we do. I appreciate that because we put time and effort into really wanting them to become not only productive citizens, but we want them to not be a burden on humanity. When they
Mm-hmm.
leave every morning, we tell them make somebody smile. Because you could be having a bad day. Somebody might say something funny to you. You know what I'm saying? And that shit just completely shifts your day. You know what I'm saying? It don't cost you nothing to be nice to somebody. Like seriously.
That's the truth.
You know. I know we got off topic a little bit, but I think it be the small things though.
Yeah.
And we appreciate the compliment. Because that episode was funny as hell. Was that the same one where they were fighting over their imaginary children? Okay, yeah, yeah, they are. My kids are they something else. Um, would you say that you're a servant of money or money serves you?
I would say money serves me because I'm not a materialistic person.
Okay, we got a little space. I'm just gonna read the comment if you put it up there. Oh, definitely. It definitely pertaining to the kids, or it's the small things and whatnot. Q.
The small things, definitely.
What is peace, love, and understanding to you?
Peace, where I'm at right now. You know what I'm saying? Being able to live, be comfortable. Uh, to me, that's peace. You know what I'm saying? That's peace. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no chaos. It just, you know what I'm saying, at my own domain. Um, what did you say the other one was?
Love and understanding.
Love. Um, my heart, my wife. That's my love right there. That right there. That woman has been a big big part of like a lot of things that I've been able to do. You know what I'm saying? Because most women would see that you can't do something or you trying to do something and they'll nitpick. It's not my wife. You know what I'm saying? She she picks me up. That's my lifeline. So that right there is love. You know, it's peace, love, and happiness. Right? Or
Understanding.
understanding. Understanding to me is knowing that even though I may want something to be a certain way, that sometimes it don't happen like that.
I
So I
love
have
that.
to understand that, you know what I'm saying? So that right there is the understanding of knowing that even though you might want something so much, is it a need? You know what I'm saying? Is this something that you need or is it just something that you want? So, you know what I mean? To me, understanding is that, and, you know, and understanding other people's plights, you know what I'm saying? Being understanding of other people, you know what I'm saying, feelings. And, you know what I'm saying? Just basically, you know, just trying to be the all around cool person. You know what I'm saying? Trying to be I always try to be that bridge when there's conflict to try to like stem it, to break it. You know what I'm saying? I don't like it when people that I deal with is at odds with each other. Because then I can't help but interject myself to try to settle it down because I got respect for you. I got respect for you. I don't want to see y'all bumping heads. So, you know, that to me, that's peace, love, and understanding.
Okay. I'm not mad at that at all. Now, we know you love your wife because when every time you say wife,
That's
you
that's my
smile
heart.
ear to
I
ear.
do. I do. I do. That's my
But
heart.
I really want to ask you what's your favorite thing about being a husband?
Uh, man, man. Sometimes like it's shocking because my wife says, you know, she a smart woman, education, got her master's. You know what I'm saying? She's a therapist, and she chose me. You know what I'm saying? She didn't need me. She wanted to be with me. Everything that we have together, I honestly believe that she could have it by herself. You know what I'm saying? And it just pushed me to try to do more. You know what I'm saying? Because I was trying to be a career criminal, not a career artist or a career doctor or a career lawyer or you know what I'm saying, somebody in the Senate. And you know, to me, just every day, man. I when I wake up, I smile. When she gone, she come up big. I don't care if I just seen her 4 or 5 hours ago. When I see her, I smile. You know, it's just I always thought I was gonna be by myself. You know, I didn't think nobody was gonna love me. So when I finally found somebody that loves me and give me that same reciprocal love that I give to them, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? It was the best decision of my life asking that woman to marry me.
Did you ever ask her why you?
Yeah,
If you can
yeah.
share,
Oh, I tell her,
what she
yeah.
say?
I'm like, she's like, because I want you, and you know that make me smile. Like somebody want me. Somebody wants me.
Okay, I'm not mad at that. You're in a room with everybody you ever loved. Who do you run to? I'm sorry.
My wife,
Okay. Who runs to you?
my wife.
I heard this question on another podcast. I think you're the perfect person to ask this. They were talking about the concept of being with somebody for the rest of your life, right?
Hmm.
So you assume you're not gonna break up until you both pass on. So
Hmm.
hypothetically speaking, this happens. You're you're both in heaven. Are you gonna seek her out?
Heck yeah. Heck yeah, I might get kicked out of heaven because I'll fight somebody if they already trying to talk to me.
And that's kind of like what a lot of people are saying, because and then the other question is, well, damn, what if, so like for me, it would be like, well, what if I'm there looking for him, but he already booed up, you know what I'm saying? Because he got there before I did. You know what I'm saying? Like, what am I supposed to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, or is it like, oh hell no, what you doing here? Oh, hey, I'm sorry. I got to go over here. You know what I'm saying? Like, how like how is that gonna work out? Like,
Man, I grab Gabriel's horn, blow the. It's going down. It's going down. It's
I think
going
that's
down.
interesting because most people do have the same reaction, but it's always on the other side. Like, but wait a minute though, how does that work? We obviously don't have no examples. You know what I'm saying, of how that works, but I always find that interesting to ask people that are together. Um, another question. Um, what's success mean to you?
Success, my life journey, still being above ground. You know what I'm saying? Still being able to wake up and be better than I was at the day before.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because success don't to some success will come just like that. But for a lot of us, success we got to work very hard for it.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? When you do get that success, just don't settle for just that success. Try to top it. You know what I'm saying? Because you a lot like what you're doing right now. You very successful in this. Your energy, love it. You know what I'm saying? The topics that you present to people, you know what I'm saying, is good. You know what I'm saying? The whole little unwrapped podcast that y'all got, the whoop de whoops, you know what I'm saying? Swipey hate everything. You know what I'm saying? That be cracking me up. You got the drop the mic with the 606, you know what I'm saying? You and I want to say, is it Mother Teresa?
And 13, but they
Yeah,
call her
yeah.
Mother
You know
Mary
what I'm saying
sometimes.
you know what I'm saying, on the couch. You know what I'm saying, them freaking dudes or them freaking guys. You know what I'm saying, with heat, and you know what I'm saying, this that I like that because it is, none of it is that negative vibe energy.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying, you that because that chaotic energy is just something I don't like being around. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying, if your energy ain't good, I can't do it. Yeah, but you know what I'm saying, it's basically about the energy. You know what I'm saying? If it's some good energy, good vibes, you know what I'm saying? Who don't want to be part of that?
that's true. Yeah, that's true. And we appreciate the compliment. I think that's what the world is missing. More positivity, more authentic content. Everybody's trying to be a character or appeal to the masses or
Instead of
replicate.
being themselves.
Yep, replicate what they think is successful because somebody has materialistic things, as opposed to just doing whatever they have in them. I feel like here on this platform, we're all able to express ourselves in a way that is true to who we are across every platform. So some of the stuff come off crazy as hell because you got complete opposite personalities, coming together, but it's all done respectfully, and it's a great outlet for all of us. And then we're able to interact, touch, and meet so many great people, through
Hmm.
happenstance. You know what I mean? Like us meeting you, through
Yeah,
Q,
yeah,
us
through
meeting
Q.
Q.
You know what I'm saying? My kin folk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's my kin folk right there.
all of that, all of that. It's great. Last question:
Hmm.
if you were to pass away today, what's the one thing you regret you didn't accomplish?
Wow. To be honest, mm, I'm in a process of trying to building a dynasty. So if I die today and with the dynasty incomplete, then that right there, you know what I'm saying, not being able to have like where all my loved ones is situated. That right there would that would be it.
Okay, I'll take it. All right. Okay. Well,
Hit me with some hard. You've been hitting me with a couple of hard questions to have me like, mm,
all right. You survived. You know, you made it through. Um, tell the people how they can get at you for all their design needs and such.
well, right now I'm just on Facebook, but you look up personal print, spelled correctly, and you'll see some of the artwork that I do have posted up. And then most of them are just like characters, because I do, I do characters, I do actual portraits. Um, again, I do logos. I'm still in the process because I don't really like the social media that much. I'm not really too much of a social media person, so I don't have the Instagram, I don't have the the Twitter and all that. But I know that what I'm trying to do, I need to get into that, and I need to get it. So look out for them pretty soon, and it's gonna be the same, have the same moniker, personal print.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate you letting me pick your brain and conversate with you and sharing your story on our platform. I'm very sure we will see you on Friday in the comments for Unwrap. So
You
thank you
know
so
it.
much for giving me this opportunity. I really appreciate that. In the future, I want to do something like a panel of fathers or something like that. I'm definitely gonna call on you to join that. I think you add something great to that discussion. So that'll be coming down the pipeline very soon.
Okay, and I want to say before we go, I appreciate you actually allowing me to be on this platform and be able to talk and talk about personal stuff. You know what I'm saying, stuff I usually don't do. You know what I'm saying, but I got to come out and say it. So I appreciate I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying, allowing me to come up on here and vibe with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. For those of you who are, viewing the show for the first time, we appreciate you. Stick around. We got something to offer every day of the week on the Unwrapped channel. Um, uh, in the words of Avon Barksdale, keep it light, but keep it.
Yeah, that's right. Peace, y'all. Tune in. Tune in.